Here's your wrestling news for December 29th, 2021. And your headlines for today include huge WrestleMania 38 plans in Jeopardy. What could change? Real reason why Styles vs. Omos wasn't on Raw. What does WWE have planned for Veer Mahaan? AEW wrestler announces new project for next month. Wrestling power couple confirmed after weeks of speculation. Why has Bruce Prichard not been at several recent WWE events? Former WWE champion confirmed for NXT New Year's Evil match. One of your boobs is totally gone. Former superstar tells all on what went wrong in WWE. WWE announces top 25 matches of 2021, what took first place, and more. We're kicking off today with the Universal Champion Roman Reigns, who didn't appear at a Boxing Day house show in Tampa, Florida, and it's expected that this was due to the recent wave of positive cases in the company. We can't say whether Reigns tested positive or if this was just a precaution, but we do know that he also missed the following day's live event, and now huge plans for WWE are at serious risk. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer discussed the Reigns situation and said that plans for WrestleMania hinge on the Tribal Chief being at this weekend's Day 1 pay-per-view. Meltzer added that his sources say it is very, very important that Reigns, Paul Heyman, and Brock Lesnar are all at Day 1, saying that something has been planned that will tie into the rumored WrestleMania 38 rematch between Reigns and Lesnar. Losing Roman Reigns is something that WWE does not want to happen, but Reigns has made it clear in the past that he's willing to walk away from the ring as he was absent for months in early 2020. As an immunocompromised individual, Reigns' health comes before anything else, and we'll hopefully know more about whether Day 1's main event is still on during this Friday's SmackDown. On this week's Raw, AJ Styles was meant to face Omos, but that match never happened, and after teasing a match with Commander Aziz, the Phenomenal One eventually faced Apollo Crews. It's been reported that Omos left Detroit, the city hosting Raw, earlier in the day, but we have no information on why the match didn't make it to TV. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer spoke about the two and the match they had at the Boxing Day live event in Madison Square Garden, and said the match was absolutely horrible. He added that it's entirely possible for WWE to have pulled the televised match after the disastrous live event encounter, which ended with Styles getting the DQ win by using Eddie Guerrero's fake chair shot tactic. Although WWE put Omos over strong at Survivor Series, having him eliminate half the competition in the 25-man Battle Royal, it was reported that WWE had held off splitting the duo up, believing the Giant wasn't ready for a singles push, and given these reports, those fears were apparently valid. Since October, vignettes have been airing for the re-debut of Veer Mahaan, now split from Shanky and Jinder Mahal. Though these segments once highlighted an imposing force set to shake Raw to its core, the sheer amount of vignettes without Veer actually appearing in person has become somewhat of a joke for fans of the product. According to Fightful Select, WWE officials are well aware of just how ridiculous it looks that his re-debut is taking this long, but there's no significant plans in place for him to debut, and no timeline on when fans can expect him on Raw. Addressing his split from Mahal and Shanky, Fightful says it was done with no real rhyme or reason, and that many assumed he would eventually move to SmackDown and realign with his former partners. For what it's worth, Veer has been active on Main Event, getting wins over Cedric Alexander, John Morrison, and T-Bar, but despite big vignettes on Raw, there's nothing happening backstage for the Indian superstar. News now as Matt Hardy has had an incredible career, both in and out of Tony Khan's company, and now the former ECW champion is launching his own podcast. The new show, titled The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, will debut on January 7th and will be co-hosted by John Alba. As the name suggests, the new podcast will detail Hardy's life and journey in and out of the wrestling world, with Alba saying in a tweet that this will be different from your typical nostalgia pod. Speaking to Sports Illustrated, Hardy himself explained just how excited he is for the new project, and we'll get to hear plenty more of the AEW wrestler come January 7th. When Sammy Guevara announced that he was splitting from his fiancée Pam, some fans quickly accused Ty Conti of splitting the couple up, and the venom at her led the Brazilian wrestler to deactivate her Twitter account. At the time, fans had no hard evidence that the pair were together, but now it seems that Conti and Guevara are a real-life couple. On recent Instagram stories, the pair can be seen hanging out together with the caption, "Date Night," and Guevara replied to one of Tainara's latest posts with heart eyes emojis. While the rumors of them being together turned out to be right, there's still no evidence that Conti forced Guevara and Pam to split up, and whatever may have happened, we wish everyone involved the very best with whatever comes next. Earlier this week, we reported on Bruce Prichard, who has been missing from several TV tapings, including this week's Raw. Prichard was absent from Raw, as was Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon, and on his show, Dave Meltzer explained that the absence of Dunn and McMahon was a precautionary measure because of the ongoing situation. Explaining why Prichard hasn't been around, it was said that he's dealing with some sort of health issue, and this all started a few weeks back. There's no word on what sort of health issue is keeping him away, and given WWE's rules against publicly disclosing test results, we can't say whether he's one of the recent positive cases in the company. What we do know is that in his absence, Ed Koski is filling in for Prichard, and there's no word on whether he'll be at this weekend's Day 1 pay-per-view. For years, Prichard has been considered one of the most important names in WWE not named McMahon, but the company is having to forge on without the veteran employee. Over to NXT 2.0, as the show will have their New Year's Evil event next week, which will feature the first ever NXT match of AJ Styles. Confronting Grayson Waller on last night's show, Styles laid down the challenge, and after Waller invaded Raw this week, these two will settle their score on January 4th. For 2 years, Scarlett Bordeaux worked in WWE but never had a televised match in the company. The Smoke Show's only WWE match was a dark match with Shotzi Blackheart prior to a June 2021 SmackDown, and she instead spent most of her run managing her fiancé, Karrion Kross. Speaking to Renee Paquette on Oral Sessions, Bordeaux explained why she never had a televised run in WWE and why she was barely seen after her match with Blackheart. She said, "After the match, everything was going great. I get home and look in the mirror and I'm like, one of these doesn't look like the other," referencing her breasts. "I immediately go to medical. They were like, yes, one of your boobs is totally gone. I was like, I can get the surgery and I can manage and be ringside, that's no problem. I just can't wrestle right away. The plan was, I guess, for me to wrestle, and they were like, when you're totally clear, you're gonna wrestle." Bordeaux never got the chance to wrestle in WWE again after she was cleared, as she was cut by the company on November 4th, but the Smoke Show has been in demand ever since her non-compete clause expired. And we're ending with Lacey Evans, who's been missing from TV for close to a year. It was in February that Evans announced her real-life pregnancy, immediately ending her feud at the time with Charlotte Flair, which also included her father Rick. After giving birth in October, Evans is in phenomenal shape and responding to a fan who was happy to show off the Lacey Evans action figure her daughter got for Christmas. The sassy Southern Belle confirms she'll be back very soon. Going undrafted in the recent draft, time will tell what brand Evans ends up on, but it appears fans won't be waiting for much longer to find out. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.